Missouri might be a problem in 2025. It is yet another program that is lining up all its ducks to knock them down all at the same time. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If that is something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. How many games do you think Missouri is going to win? Because I'm going to set the over-under at 9 here. I get the win total is 7.5 for many, but I'm going to explain myself a little bit further on. I'm also going to remind you, we've got an audio podcast on Apple and Spotify, and I am giving away stickers to anybody who goes to Apple and Spotify, leaves a 5-star review, fills out the form in the description below. I'm going to send you one of these stickers and a thank you note personally from me, written, handwritten, all those sorts of things, because it means that much to me. And we charted earlier this week, top 200 podcasts. That's very cool because we haven't even been doing the audio podcast for a month. Missouri's going to be a problem, man. You can see it in my face. Like, I'm looking at him going, yeah, all right, yeah, all right, yeah, damn. And I'll explain. First, we could talk about the one wild card, which is the quarterback, which is pretty big wild card. It's the most important player on your roster every single year. This year, it's Beau Pribula, we believe, is going to be the starting quarterback. Sam Horn could be that guy, but I doubt it. I don't think that Beau Pribula decided to transfer from Penn State to Missouri, so he couldn't play. He could do that at Penn State, right? He was the guy that was behind Drew Aller. And even with Drew Aller, they felt better about him than they did Pribula, who wants to play. And I get that. Going to Missouri, not a bad place to go. Drew Pine tried to make it happen over there. It didn't. He's at Bowling Green. Brady Cook turns out to be a quality college football quarterback, a quality SEC quarterback, a la Stetson Bennett. Like, you put Brady Cook on that 2021, 2022 Georgia team, you might get the same results, is what I'm saying. That's not as much shade as it is what it is. You also don't have Luther Burden or Theo Weiss Jr. this year. Luther Burden, who is probably going to be a long-time NFL veteran who puts together 1,000-yard season after 1,000-yard season. So what have they done? Well, they went to go get Pribula, who gives them mobility at the quarterback position for the first time in some time. And they went and got Kevin Coleman out of Mississippi State. This is a guy that started out at Jackson State and Mississippi State, was really great last year. Something like 76 catches, 932 yards, about 12.6 yards per catch on a bad Mississippi State team that was really playing musical chairs at quarterbacks. Not bad, right? You bring him back home as well. So there's your number one, or so I think. I think Kevin Coleman's going to end up being your number one at wide receiver. And then at tailback, yeah, you lost some, but you added Ahmad Hardy, who was really the reason that the ULM Warhawks were able to be something like good last year. He had over 1,300 yards on the ground, averaged about 5.7 yards per carry, like 13 TDs. Again, another great player on a bad football team. You're going to see that as a trend when we're talking about name, image, and likeness, and we're talking about transfer portal. And that's kind of it, right? You're able to go get those players because you had the money to pay them. Earlier today, St. Louis Dispatch published a really great story about Missouri's NIL efforts. And they spent $31 million in 2024 on their athletics programs via one NIL entity. They were very forward in how they were thinking about NIL and how they were using it to market. And Missouri, if nothing else, has shown over and over again they want it. They're not out here giving lip service to winning. They want to win, which means they're willing to pay people to come to Missouri and to pay them to stay in Missouri. And I applaud that, because as we're getting into this, and I continue to beat the drum on name, image, and likeness being a good thing, I don't care if you can't afford to play. If you can't afford to play, don't play. We got plenty of people that A, can, and B, want to. Southern Methodist is eating television revenue money so they can play in the ACC, and they got the dividends right away. They went undefeated through their regular season ACC schedule, and then they ended up in the ACC championship game, and they made the college football playoff before USC did, just to name drop somebody, just in case you didn't think this strategy was worthwhile. Missouri's trying to get there because Missouri is in that second tier of SEC programs as we think about it, because they're a late arrival. But they've tried to put on the clothes and operate like an SEC program since they got there. They just ain't got the winning to show for it up until recently, right? Now, we could talk a lot about what Gary Pinkel was able to do in those years, and it was great, right? Particularly that 08 Missouri team with Jeremy Maclin and Chase Daniels, for those of y'all that go back that far. Some of y'all remember Brad Smith running wild on people. But we don't have to go that far. We can go to Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. Was Ohio State down? Yeah, they were. They still lost, right? And you still had an All-American tailback in Cody Schrader who was doing everything he could. And they've been able to run that back. And I've been really impressed with what Eli Drinkwitz has been doing at that program. And they've got a really great staff. They're going to win more games than they lose. And they're becoming a perennial, yeah, we expect you to win 8-9 games, if at all possible. This year, that's it, man. It's not just that they are really good about identifying and paying people, right? It's also that they have a schedule that everybody else was going to be envious of, and we're going to debate it as if they win all the games that I think they're going to win. They got 8 home games. 8 at Faurot Field. 8 games at home. They only got to go on the road 4 times, and those 4 times aren't really the toughest opponents. So I was writing it down, and I'm going, I couldn't believe this. You get South Carolina at home. It's a tough team. It's going to be a tough game. Lenore Sellers already getting first-round draft pick love because he's tooly and he's got all the things you would want. An Anthony Richardson type, if that's what you want, but he could just as easily be Will Levis. We'll see, right? But South Carolina I expect to be good, and you would rather them come to you than you go to them. You got Alabama at Missouri. Oh, okay? That's another team that we expect to be top 25, if not top 10. And you are going to be breaking in a new quarterback for them at Alabama, right? It's going to be Ty Simpson, we think. But is Ty Simpson Jalen Milroe? No. Is he Mac Jones? Probably not. Is he Bryce Young? No. I think you got a shot here, right? To say nothing of you're talking about Ryan Williams and the service he's going to get. They lost Justice Haynes. They're going to rebuild it at running back just a little bit. But you want that game at home. Then you get A&M at home, who might be a top 25 program by the time you get to them later in the season, but certainly is going to be a team that's on your trajectory, right? That in that second tier of SEC programs, and you ought to win that one being at home. Then you got to go at OU, at Arkansas, and at Auburn. That's it. Other games out of conference are like Central Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana. So if you're paying attention, they have basically been able to miss every single SEC program that made the college football playoff in 2024. Georgia, not on their schedule. Tennessee, not on their schedule. LSU, who didn't make the playoff, but to get my point, not on their schedule. Texas, made the playoff, not on their schedule. It's there for them. This is as good as it's going to get from the stars align standpoint as we're willing to look at for Missouri. Now, also in that, I was thinking about what SEC assistant coaches had to say about Missouri to Athlon in their anonymous quoting. And it was some interesting reading because most of those guys believe that this is a 10-win team with an underappreciated staff. Now, losing guys like Burden, losing guys like Cook, you expect that continuity to show itself, or the lack thereof, in the first few games. That Kansas game is a squirrely one. That's going to be tricky because Jalen Daniels is healthy, and he can go. He can make things hurt. He can make things hard. We get the Kansas that we saw in the second half of 2024 and not the first, maybe you're looking at a loss there. But outside of that game, everybody else in your non-conference, you should be going away. And again, you're not playing what I think were the 3 best teams in the SEC last year, and 3 teams that expect to be top 25 teams at some point during this season. Given what Nico Iamaleava meant to them or didn't mean to them, given what Dylan Sampson meant to them or didn't mean to them in 2024, you could go either way on Tennessee being a preseason top 25 team. South Carolina, going to be there. Alabama, going to be there. A&M, probably going to be there. Oklahoma, no, but you're at Oklahoma, right? Auburn, no, but you're at Auburn. I hope that the Jackson Arnold that you see is the one that Oklahoma saw too in that game. My goodness, dude. Jackson Arnold fumbled that game away that Oklahoma should have won against Missouri. So maybe it's going to be tougher this year because John Mateer and Ben Arbuckle. But I'm positive for the most part about OU, but I'm not going to tell you about how I think Oklahoma's going to win 11, 12 games this year because I need to see it. I got to see how Arbuckle and Mateer work, and I got to see it against SEC competition. I'm really not going to learn much outside of Michigan maybe about this team. And even then, I'm going to develop a little bit more. A lot of smart people have a lot of smart things to say about Oklahoma. But I don't think they're paying attention to Missouri because Kevin Coleman, Beau Pribula, and Ahmad Hardy don't pop the way that Jay Knott, John Mateer, and Deion Burke do. But you get my point here, right? I think they're going to be good. If you think they're going to be good, let me know. Because Missouri fans be the first people to tell you, RJ saying something nice about us is not necessarily on the bingo card. So if he's saying something nice about us, he must believe it. Yeah, that's what it is. I believe you should win 9 games. After that, we'll see. Like, who are your losses? Could be Alabama. That's could be South Carolina. Could be Kansas. Could be A&M, right? I don't know what Oklahoma team you're going to see. And people are saying nice things about Auburn, but I would like to see it first, given what they have in Eric Singleton, Cam Coleman, Jackson Arnold. And then Arkansas is just kind of all over the map, right? Taylor Green and Bobby Petrino ought to figure something out, but we don't know what it is they're going to have on that defense and the defensive line. They no longer, run a lot of cover 0 there, but it's still Arkansas, which is in that 3rd tier of SEC if we're going to take those 16 teams and put them in the 3 tiers. Missouri's trying to climb in the first one. They can do it this year. They just got to win the games that they're supposed to.